are again. Hello, y'all. This is Kev, and this is BMBBH, and nice to come to you guys again for another Saturday session. Let's call out the people who are already in the building. We got KP from KC5. What's going on? We got Feel Rad. We got Alongo Savage, and we got Christopher the Conqueror. Thank you all if you're watching. Please hit that like button if you're on your way into the broadcast, or do whatever you feel you need to do because of the words that I'm about to say. But know this, your participation at any capacity is appreciated. So let's get to it. Does Dr. Umar know he's pandering? Does he know this? Does he truly mean all of this gibberish that he says? Does he truly believe it in his heart? Does he truly believe that this is the actual way to fix things in the black community? There were some crazy suggestions, I would say, that comes out of his mouth quite often, and um, I will have to say that it's something that I usually rail against. I rail against productive thinking black men trying to fix a situation that seems to keep breaking itself. And what I mean by is this concept of the community. Um, I do understand, yes, there is a community. There's a lot of people that say that we're not a community because of the things that have happened and what we experience in our lives. I say there is a community, but it's quite fractured and broken. And the breakdown in communication, for the most part, is the unwillingness to admit what the problem is by many which do reside in this so-called quote unquote community. You know, and I don't believe that your boy Dr. Umar understands, what the actual problems are if he truly believes it in his heart. Because I don't know, I've been kind of listening to the musings of Dr. Umar Johnson, Dr. Umar Ifatunde, uh whatever he wants to call himself, the Prince of Pan Africanism, the descendant of Frederick Douglass. Is it just Frederick Douglass? Is it Marcus Garvey, or is it Frederick Douglass and Marcus Garvey? But I'm not going to spend this whole entire broadcast just calling the man a simp, even though it might be a very fitting description of what Dr. Umar is. Because I'll stick by a statement that I made weeks and weeks ago, and I still stick by it today. Uh, Pro blackness, to me, I would say, in the modern social media definition of the such, is nothing but dick policing. It's trying to, police black men on what to do with our penises. you know, don't go put your penis inside of another race of women, even if you are appreciated by that group of women or whatever. Don't do it, because it will lead you to nothing but misfortune and disaster, I would say. And I'm not, and I've always said this: I don't promote interracial dating. I don't promote, interracial marriage, but I also don't care. I'll tell anyone, go where you're appreciated, male or female. No one's forcing you to stay. No one forces you to watch things that you disagree with. No one forces you to adopt philosophies that other people are espousing. No one is forcing you to do that. It's all done by choice. And that's the problem that I have with Dr. Umar. Dr. Umar doesn't seem to understand that there are a bunch of terrible choices being made by, I guess, the group of people that he wants to protect. the black queen or whatever. And I'm not saying that. Look, I'm not here to discourage you men from doing what you feel that you need to do for your local communities and for the melanated black African American community, the nation over, or the diaspora. Down a hill as you want. But I do not suggest for any black man to waste your time trying to save something that cannot be saved. Like the Project Pat song, "Don't save her, she don't want to be saved." I mean, just let's, instead of, because Project Pat was talking about hoes. Uh, and that's something we don't do on this channel. We don't cry for these hoes. Let's put community in that place. When I think about the community and I think about the brokenness of the community, I see a group of people who share the same physical, I would say, traits as far as skin color. Um, just not only we're not very united, but there's a refusal to unite. But as long as we can look good for other groups of people, our actual tangible unity isn't something that we want to foster, and something that we want to adopt as our way of life, as such as going by certain standards. Many believe that a standard that we should set within our own community is don't have kids outside of marriage. Just for the purpose of the child having a balanced upbringing, which is something that I agree on. But it I also acknowledge and understand that that's not the dynamic that works for everyone. My thing is, if you're going to bring children into this world, please make sure that you are raising them to be productive, responsible citizens, and that pretty much will go for both genders. The less trouble that the leaders of the community run into, the better. Then that means that the quote unquote leaders of the community can focus on things that put us in a forward motion, instead of having to reach back and fix problem after problem after problem after problem, problems that are easily avoidable. But as you can see with the man on the screen here, I don't believe that he has a complete understanding. So we have some more people coming in. Please hit that like button. See Joe's down there. Carlton Way One. Ray Humma, the Humma Force. What's going on, my brother? Barry Little. He says salute Kev. Yes, Umar knows exactly what he is doing. And we got off from the Norm 18 in the building as well. Okay, so let's share this screen. Let's listen to Dr. Umar all together. And I'm not going to do the long interview. I'm just gonna get to what pretty much set this space on fire. And I do kind of applaud from the factual standpoint how the Black Manosphere has handled this thus far. So let's watch together, and I will be reacting as these young men are talking. Oh yeah, let me do something else real quick. Sorry, gentlemen. Let me let me announce fair use. Fair use. This is fair use. I mean, hopefully these guys don't have a problem with me um, using their broadcast to make these points I'm about to make. But I mean, if they are striking people's channels, they are striking a lot of them. But the daily wrap up crew, shout out. Also shout out to Dr. Umar Johnson of King Kong consciousness, which I didn't think to tag before. Um, but here we are. Let's listen. Let's take a let's take some. Let's react. All right. Fair use.
Speaking of that, I've seen a video of yours where you said that feminism has conditioned black women to view black men as the enemy.
It has. Feminism was financed by the CIA. Gloria, what was her name? Gloria Steinem, I think she was.
Right, yeah.
Mother of modern feminism, because traditional feminism goes back to the 1800s, right? With Susan B. Anthony and those white supremacists. But Gloria Steinem was a CIA agent. They financed her. Her first feminist magazine they paid for.
Mm.
The CIA brought feminism into the white household to get the woman out the house, and into the black household to turn the black woman against the black man.
Mm.
Mm-hmm. To scapegoat us for problems caused for her by white supremacy.
So,
Okay. This so what he basically said that it's white women fault for black women thinking the way that they think, and yeah, there is a responsibility that the government, you know, using all of these social experiments to, kind of become the puppeteers, I would say, have us yoking by a string, making us act the way we want to act. That's why you got spaces like this today to get, to unplug people and get them out of that way of thinking. Some would call it red pilling or whatever. I'll just call it, I just call it using common goddamn sense. If people are making a choice to be your direct opposition, then they have to have some personal responsibility for that. We can't always blame other groups of people. We can to an extent, but when you're at the height of your race's unity, then and you decide to deviate onto someone else or some other way of thinking, then whose fault is it at the end of the day? I wouldn't say that would belong to black men. If you are going to white women after all of these, I would say, egregious things that they have done to black people, why would a group of women would sit there and just make the choice to listen to, uh, I would say, the enemy? I mean, but you can say whatever you want about that in the chat. Yeah, and keep in mind when I'm sharing the screen like this, I can't see what's going on in the chat. So, um, yeah, let's continue. Yeah, this one might take a little bit. It's a 18-minute clip, but you know,
obviously, a big thing. Obviously, we spoke about the gender wars, earlier. Obviously,
gender war. I said this before and I say it again. It did not become a gender war until black men started responding to the unfair criticisms of, B dubs who have been giving a voice time and time again by the mainstream media. For the most part, let me just go ahead and offer some clarity. For the most part, black men were quiet up until a few years ago. And I will repeatedly say this, now that black men are saying some shit, it's now all of a sudden a problem. And not to say that there are not some problematic weirdos out there. I'm just saying for the most part, for many black men is no correct way to say it when you're dealing with a group of hypersensitive people. And in that group, black men and black women are included. So, this the term gender war is sort of a term that encourages short-sightedness because it's both men and women on both sides. The just I guess it's just that one gender is looking to blame the other gender for uh problems, I would say, that led to the current state of the black relationship. So, all right, and what's going on with the children. So,
see there's a lot of conversation nowadays about the value of what a woman brings and the value of what a man brings in a relationship, and now there's a lot more rhetoric from our women that we hear is I'm strong, independent, I don't need no man, right?
That's
So
just that's pain.
It's starting to hear. They've been saying that for decades, bruh. But anyway, Dr. Umar is about to get into his BS.
Speaking though,
right.
because most black women know they will never get a man. A black woman can have sex whenever she wants
Right.
because she's beautiful. She can have a bed mate, but to have a soul mate, she may never get.
Yeah, we say this quite often that, women initiate sex, men initiate marriage. So at least he's admitting to that. So why isn't there more accountability?
I have two daughters, 11 and 20,
Mm.
right?
Uh, Dr. Umar is a dad with a daughter, such as myself. But I believe that me and him are on two very different wavelengths when it comes to that. My thing is I want women who are great examples of people that to influence my daughter, not this thought culture, not this battle axe bitch culture either, But that's a worry of mine, I would say. Um, but he has two daughters. That's something that I did not know until I heard this bit right here. I didn't know he had two daughters. But anyway,
My oldest would be 21 this week. Statistically, right? There's a strong chance my daughter could be one of those. I hope she's not. She could be one of those who never get a husband because only one out of four gets a husband. You see that? So when a black woman says, I don't need a man, that is a reaction to the reality that I may not get a man.
so basically they're playing a game of CYA when they say I don't need a man. It's really them saying I can't get a man. Okay. Let's see let's see how far this logic goes.
So why not preach? Because I understood, you're obviously against interracial relations when it comes to black men
Absolutely.
with black women. I mean, with white women.
With all women, you should only be with the black woman.
And you will
And this is the part where I say this is what pro-blackism in its current state is truly about. It's not investing in black businesses to a great degree, is not inserting politicians that are within our best interest in place and making a strong push for those politicians to gain power. Is not about any of that. It's not about actual community building and programs for the youth. I mean, even though Dr. Umar is attempting to open up a school, which could open up any day now, which I don't shun or I don't criticize that effort. Um, Pro-blackism is dick policing black men, and this is basically what he's doing in this little bit. So
say, well, if you can't find a good woman in America,
Go
there's
somewhere
plenty
else.
in Africa.
Absolutely.
So why not teach that same rhetoric to our women? Like if
I
you
he basically outlined, from what I understand, is the principle of SYSBM. SYSBM doesn't say, just forsake all black women. It's just saying that, you can go to different countries and get other black women, I guess, which is not to just go and hang their hat in the Caucasian community like that's going to actually bring them love. So, hey,
do.
if you feel
I
like
tell
you
sisters all the time go to Africa.
so
I know
then
sisters who marry. I just spoke with a sister. She invited me to the wedding. She just
yeah, he tells sisters all the time to go to Africa. You don't tell brothers. No, or at least he ain't say it right here.
married a brother from the continent.
so it's, but instead of saying they will never
I've
get
taken
married,
sisters to Africa who married brothers they met in
right,
Africa.
right.
So
Yeah, so he's helping women, black women in particular, to SYSBW. Yep, the Prince of Pander Africanism.
yeah, I
I think
do teach that.
there's plenty. I think there's obviously plenty of black men for
Yes, it
black
is.
women. So
And what I
instead of
also
saying that
tell
they'll
black
never
women,
get
if you're going to
married,
go get you an African man from the continent,
right?
you're going to have to understand that the way in which you talk to black men in America will not be tolerated over there.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Okay, so this is something that we have stated time and time again about the respect bit. A lot of the reasons why brothers over here want to leave sisters alone that's over here is because of the funky attitudes and the nonsense and the dramatic nonsense. And he just admitted to himself. Well, he just admitted in front of Daily Rap Crew and everyone that is a problem. So why doesn't the rest of what the fuck he's about to say reflects this?
How the
It
fuck
is
is
a
it tolerated? It's not
respect.
tolerated here. That's what we're trying to tell him.
Well, over here, I want to say this to us though,
Mm.
because we try to act like the way sisters treat us doesn't have a history that we are not at least partly responsible for.
Okay, who is we? Okay, this is where the breakdown is going to begin. Who is we? Not me, not a lot of people that listen to this program. Who is the we?
Let's be honest. The black woman has had to hold down the black house by herself,
Mhm.
although imperfectly.
Mhm.
She's had to do it by herself since the mass incarceration of black males began in the 1970s. You understand me?
Mhm.
Most of
All right. So why are we never looking at the black males who weren't incarcerated? The one who had shit going for themselves. Why are we never looking at those males? Shit. It's just, I mean, I get mass incarceration, us, white privilege, us going to jail for longer, longer for the same shit. Um, yeah, we get all that, but like, I'm gonna go ahead and say this, and this is not me being insensitive to the plight of blacks. They're they're more than just incarcerated black males. It's almost as buying into this bullshit that there are no available black men, that black men are either in jail, they're dead, or they're gay. Someone else recently said that bullshit, but he's feeding it. I don't know if you're hearing this stuff, but all right.
our children are raised by a single mother right now.
Mhm.
And it has been that way for about 50 years.
That's what happens when you have backseat boogie and procreating, just basically saying procreating without the confines of marriage and governmental incentives that discourage any unification of the black family. You have this making the choice that I'm going to take the easy way out, which ain't the easy way. And to you brothers out there, we can tell you till you're blue in the fucking face. Look, stop impregnating chicks without marriage. Stop impregnating chicks that you don't intend to stay with. But once them booty cheeks are clapping in your face, the other head takes over. What I'm trying to say is no one is stopping these people from fucking. Jesus.
So when his sister says, I don't need a man, because she couldn't find one strong enough to hold her down.
Yeah, there goes that word strong. Do you know that women are starting to hate that word strong as it associates to their womanness and their femininity? I mean, shit, because it introduces that same air of insufferability, and within all of them, they don't want to be known as this. Many of them don't. The ones that do, I find that a lot of brothers don't want to deal with this. So
Or when you meet a woman and you say, sister, I'm strong enough to be your man. You ain't got to work or you ain't got to pay the bills or whatever. Pull back. I got you. And she can't do it because all the other men before you
Mhm.
who disappointed her.
Mhm.
So what I'm saying is, black man, we got
baggage. I am not responsible for anyone's baggage. Black men who Black men who haven't impregnated a woman and left her with the child, I mean left her, refuse to take your responsibility. If you haven't done that, this that bitch ain't your responsibility. I'm sorry. Excuse my French.
I'm strong enough to be your man. You ain't got to work or you ain't got to pay the bills or whatever. Pull back.
And I wonder this Dr. Umar understand and realizes that in order for a man to be able to see a woman in that light, that she's gonna have to meet a certain set of requirements. In order for a man to be motivated enough to want to be able to, to hold a woman down like that, you know. And the requirements are different when it comes from person to person. Some people want, some men want their woman to sit up there and snatch their paycheck and give them an allowance. Some men want a sandwich when they walk in the fucking door. Depends on the man. But what I try not to do, and what Umar shouldn't do, is speak for the collective, because he is about to say some really dumb bullshit.
I got you. And she can't do it because all the other men before you who disappointed her. So what I'm saying is, black men, we got to be patient with our women because we created that personality.
If I didn't recreate it, I don't give a fuck. I will move to the next one. Brothers will move to the next one. Women don't like men with baggage. Men don't like women with baggage either. Although men and women are very different, and in a lot of cases, brothers would just, we we will be more accepting than them. I will say that. So not only is he not only is he putting out all this BS, he's saying shit that brothers are already doing.
We created that, and then we want to act like we didn't play a role.
We have to be held accountable for their poor selection.
No, you have to be held accountable. No, you have to be held accountable because they have a poor selection.
Bullshit. And they do not have a poor selection. They select poorly. For the ones who select poorly, they select poorly. There's not a poor selection out there. There are plenty of good, eligible brothers out there. There are plenty of them. All this feeding into this stereotypical bullshit because people are mind fucked. He's supposed to be the kind of guy that's reversing this shit. He's not doing it. This is why I asked the question, does he even know that he's pandering? To an extent, I believe he does.
See, what you're saying, you're selecting a poor mate. And what I'm saying is they don't have much to select one, so of course you're going to end up with a poor mate.
Feeding into the dumb narrative again. They don't have enough. Fuck out of here. I mean, you're talking about a group of men who are pretty much giving the women the freedom to move about as they please. And, when they make poor decisions as far as mate selection, then all of a sudden it's on the guy they didn't want. And I would continue to say, get the fuck out of here with that bullshit.
Mate. And why is she going to end up with a poor mate? Because we as black men are not raising black boys to be the men that our women need.
Okay. I think that there are plenty of black men out there that are what the women need. They're just not being selected. They're not being given access. These these women with these kids, they're fucking like the same small percentage of guys. And and instead of us looking at the numbers, we look at our fucking feels and our fucking emotions, which really leads me to believe that most don't want these problems fixed. They just want to spew this crap like he's doing. Let me listen to that. Let me make sure I heard that correctly.
End up with a poor mate. And why is she going to end up with a poor mate? Because we as black men are not raising black boys to be the men that our women need.
Okay. Yeah. I don't get it. It's like, if black boys are doing better under two parent circumstances, and even when they end up with a single father, what the fuck is he talking about? These women use the power of the state and the local governments to take that power out of their baby daddy's hands. Granted that he was somebody worthy of being called dad, but that goes back to poor selection. Everything this what he's talking about goes into poor selection. You're just fucking sperm donors. You're not thinking to yourselves, oh, I wonder is he gonna make a good dad if he runs up and me unprotected? And then the cycle continues with these little knuckleheads in these communities.
We are not. They out there killing themselves right now. What we doing about it? Unemployed black males, what we doing about it? Pants sagging, weed smoking, what we doing about it? Black men are not raising black boys to be the men our community needs.
That's the job of their father. That's the job of their dad. I wish I had superpowers like invulnerability and super strength so I can go around these communities and smack them in the back of the head and make them act right. There's only so many community centers that you can open. You know, where are they getting this toxic mentality from? I say it's environment. It's the environment that the children are being raised in and what they're being told about their fathers. A lot of these bitches are lying to their children.
That is 100% our fault. What I'm saying is she,
man, is 0% my fault, motherfucker. Fuck out of here.
got a right to be angry with us. She got a right to be angry with us.
You know, I like when people say stuff like they have a right to be angry with us, but then like, you know, when black men, just like I said, this is what makes black men, black women different. When we express our problems, especially when it comes from a woman, it all falls on deaf ears. It's our fault. We're punks. We're bitches. We're just complaining, moaning, and crying. So we got a group of people who now want to be all strong and everything. You can't just retreat back to the other way. Can't have your cake and eat it too. I mean, which technically you can if you have a piece of cake in front of you, but y'all know what I mean. Like you can't sit there and say on one hand that I don't need this and I don't need that. I can do it by myself and then retreat into, oh well, you know, they now I have a right to be angry because I chose to be this. Like, no, we're all adults here. We understand.
I
We
understand
have
that.
not been on our job as black men.
I
If the
understand that.
men are the providers, what have we been providing for our community? I'm not speaking you individually.
Yes, yes.
Because you may be a damn good father. You may be a damn good father. You may be a damn good father. But guess what? What are we doing for the community?
Look, I have seen enough community programs, community centers run by black men, outreach programs run by black men from neighborhood, from city to city. That we make these efforts as black men, and it doesn't slow shit down. You know why? Because they may be in a feel good environment when they go to these community centers, but when they go home, that's a different story. You just this shit is whack. And this dude, he's supposed to be a psychology major or whatever, or work in the psychosciences. You know why is he being intellectually misleading like this or intellectually dishonest? Get I don't get it, but then again, I do.
What are we doing for the children who don't have a father? You don't think the black woman got a right to be angry when she's been raising 2/3 of the kids by herself for 50 years? In the middle
50 years. Some of them kids don't get the fuck out of here. Some of them don't even make it to 50 years. It's like she been having to rate. Look, all like most of my friends, two-parent homes. Most of the people I grew up knowing, two-parent homes. Predominantly black school. Most of them were two-parent homes. In fact, like even with the level of income, like from poor to somewhat middle class, there was a father there. Something happened along that way in order to facilitate the environments that these little old thuggers and these thoughtzillas are being raised in, you know. But this whole we responsible, they had to hold it down for 50 years, that's nonsense. It's nonsense. They're still two-parent homes.
minute she raised her voice, we say she not humble enough. She had to become masculine to survive the rape, the molestation, the domestic abuse. Are you telling me you can't see how we created that?
I understand.
I wouldn't have said I'd have understood shit. I would have just said, hey, I'm not responsible for this. They decided to make some decisions that did not include us. You know, and I understand that, you know, that things disproportionately happen to our women, you know, such as the things that he just mentioned. But as black people, we are an abused, beaten, uh, you know, people. We've been through it all in this country. We we built the country for free, basically, and we still trying to fight for payment on that shit. So whatever the sisters went through, the brothers went through as well. So like, but the thing is though, I understand as a black man, I can't go around angry about shit. So I mean, and to sit up there and take it out on the other half of the community that has been through similar things, that just to me that just confesses a lack of understanding for it, which a historian like Dr. Umar should understand.
But she needs
If
to
we
be
was
more
loving our
selective.
women and taking care of our women, do you think she would be like that? That personality has a history.
If she's picking Pookie and Ray Ray instead of
You're making her a scapegoat.
No, she's picking a scapegoat.
How are you making someone a scapegoat for the decisions that they make on their own? That doesn't not like that doesn't make any fucking sense.
Go.
No.
There's good
Can I ask you a
quality
question?
men that they ignore.
Why she even got it? Why is there even a Pookie in the selection?
You gotta ask her that.
No.
Her fucking choice.
No. I'm gonna tell you why there's a Pookie in the selection.
Why?
Because black men have abandoned black boys and have allowed social media, white media, athletes, and rappers to raise them. That's why she with Pookie.
These problems existed before social media and rappers. These problems did. If a rapper is raising a child, that means that there's something absent from the home. Why are we not looking at the environmental shit? Why are we not looking at that? You know why? Because it's going to implicate the same fucking people that he's pandering to.
If we never allow Pookie to develop, she would not have a Pookie.
Okay, what does that even fucking mean?
If we're going to be men, the first thing we got to do is take responsibility for why our women feel the way they feel.
I can hear that.
It's been analyzed. It's been broken down. We understand what the history of that is, and it all boils down to this one thing that no one likes to take accountability for: human fucking choice. Human choice. They choosing to be that way. Period. It's not is that black and white with me. Human choice.
Saying that they're right to disrespect, because even if a woman disrespects me, right? That still don't give me a right to disrespect her, because
no, I'm gonna be like, bitch, get the fuck out my fucking face.
She's still the queen of the
shoot. I don't deserve no fucking disrespect. Fuck out of here.
Community. Even if she not acting like it, I'm going to give her that respect. But when I hear brothers talk like this discourse we having now, we act like we don't understand.
No,
there's reasons for that shit.
I do understand. Women are so valuable. You get what I'm saying? Like, I think women ground men and help them, you know, propel to the next level. I think men get further in life with a woman, right? But when if I'm a hardworking man, but I'm only looked as
I mean, what he just said could be true, but in 2023, you know, they don't want that responsibility. They don't want that responsibility. They complain about that shit all the time. They don't want the responsibility to helping a man get to the next level. Now, when you've seen some pretty good examples of that. You've seen some pretty good examples of that, but those women usually stay more so in the background, and their men have no problem recognizing it. I give you an example: Denzel Washington. Even though a lot of people would be like, you know, I don't agree with the whole keep my mouth shut shit. And I don't agree with that either. But he acknowledges his wife, and because his wife stayed out his way and let him be great. Period. You know. But this I don't know what the fuck these.
resources,
Okay.
and then she's ready to jump on Tom, Dick, and Harry because he got flash. He's shining a little bit more. His access to money is quicker than mine's. It's kind of hard to have that.
Well, no, one, I agree with you, but that's not all sisters.
No, it's not. It's
and if
not.
you're constantly
The Naxal fallacy. So we as a collective, as black men, we have dropped the ball on them, but it's not all. And these dudes are a trip. Hold on one second. Ain't plug in. Uh, hold on one second. Oh no, it didn't. Shit. Ugh. So yeah, let me run that back. I was a little distracted.
He's shining a little bit more. His access to money is quicker than mine's. It's kind of hard to have that.
And brothers, be careful when you espouse this narrative. Be careful when you start saying stuff like she want him because of this, that, and the other. Even though it might be true, is you might come off as a lame if you explain it that way. I would say so. Just be careful.
well, no, one, I agree with you, but that's not all sisters.
No, it's not. It's,
Yeah. Then it goes back to this dumbass next salt fallacy. Not all X are like that.
If you're constantly running into that type of woman,
yeah,
then the problem is you because you're attracting a certain low vibrational energy. Why is
why
that?
not have that same energy for women? You just again you held the
because
man
we having a
responsible.
conversation as men.
Yeah.
Yeah. As having a conversation as men, you need to have the nutsack to tell the truth. Tell the truth. Fuck all that. Tell the truth. I don't care who it hurts. I don't care who it emotionally harms. The truth is the fucking truth. Fuck out of here. We as men. I got to talk at men. No, you're trying to. He's trying to do this alpha your way through it bullshit.
I got plenty of interviews with all women where I check them too.
All right.
But as a man, you should not be concerned about what I say to them. No, as men, we should be concerned of what we're going to do to produce a better generation of black males for tomorrow. That's the only that is where we should be focused.
Women bring the choice of life, right? We understand that, right? I can't have a child unless a woman agrees.
And she can't carry one if you didn't put it in her.
I agree with that 100% too, right? But whether or not, if you want that child or not, she can still make that decision. It's only
if
up
you
to
don't
her.
put a seed in her, nothing else happens. And no woman can make you put a seed in her. So the original act was the responsibility of a man.
True. I mean,
no, he just okay. Remember at the beginning, he was like, she can have sex with anyone, and like can't say that it the same women he panders to says it takes two. And that's true. It takes two. It takes a consenting decision between two adults, unless God forbid the SA happens or the grape happens. God forbid that. But it's a choice of two adult human beings that know what they're doing, because these are no longer the days of Adam and Eve. Those days are no longer here. When you do something, everything has a reaction or a fucking consequence. And that's the one thing I'm tired of. Treating one group of people like they don't know what the fuck they're doing, and the other group like they have all the goddamn cards. Now, technically, as men, we don't have to impregnate these bitches. And I'll tell you in a heartbeat, don't impregnate them. If if you know that you're not ready to be a father, but we can't account for the ones that's already done. So what do we do about them? We just hope the chips we just hope the chips fall in place and we don't end up in the wrong part of town. Because heaven forbid that I have to suffer for the mistake of not raising someone else's kid to be a productive citizen. Man, fuck out of here with that.
I mean,
All right. So did black men willingly leave the household, or was it the system that was
It was
pushing black?
systemic.
All right. So how if we giving them grace for them having to do it without us, but it wasn't our fault, how are we
But
not getting that same grace and that same
I'm
respect?
gonna tell you why. I'm
Why?
gonna tell you why. Because black men, as the leaders of the community, now
Right.
we can't be leaders.
here's the
Women
question
not
we got to
accepting
make.
that.
Here's the
Leader does not mean that does not mean that I take responsibility for the bullshit that happened that wasn't under my watch. I would say that. Well, what the fuck do these people mean? Leader doesn't also mean that I take accountability for all of your bad decision making, which is exactly what this dude is saying. If if bum Quisha across town raises uh 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 little Tyrone to knock over liquor stores or whatever, that wasn't Kev's fault for not being there and smacking him in the back of the head and making him act right. That wasn't my fault. I'm sorry.
question.
Most people have no clue that in 2023, the
Bad. Not that I don't want Daily Rap Crew to make their money, but you know.
Feeds into the feminist agenda.
Okay.
It's an argument that says, I don't want the responsibility.
I'm a leader.
I
at
don't
my
want to
home, though.
fix shit.
Mm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna fall back.
Yeah, what he's explaining is that when we say stuff like I don't want the responsibility or she can do it on her own, we're feeding right into feminism. We're feeding into the feminist narrative. A lot of people say that the black manosphere is just feminism for men, which I don't see a bunch of black men making excuses for black men's poor decision making. You know, and that's often gets said when we make a woman responsible for something that she's actually responsible for. That somehow that excuses the man in the situation. You know, that doesn't make me a feminist because I don't want to hear a woman's bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Or hear a man espouse a woman's bullshit like Dr. Umar is doing right now. That doesn't make me a feminist. What I said at the beginning is in order for her to get that 100% man, she's going to have to meet certain requirements. And I think that standard should be held up.
And let her run everything. That's what the feminists tell. They say, look at them, making excuses for why they can't be better men, making excuses for why they can't make better men. You understand?
Mm. That's bullshit. That's bullshit because boys being raised without the presence of their father, which does have extenuating circumstances that are not being taken into consideration by Dr. Umar, his chances of failure will increase. If she fucks a guy that has like 5 more baby mamas, he's going to be spread a little thin. That's why we have to institute standards if we want these problems to end. It's not on me to raise your little stupid kid. It's not. It should be on you. It's on me to raise my child. Fuck out of here.
Your argument feeds the feminist narrative.
That's
and
not.
it's dangerous.
That's not what we're making
That's not
excuses
what
for.
we're not. I'm saying I am the better man, but I shouldn't be held responsible because you wanted to choose a Pookie and a Ray Ray. That's not me. I worked too
And
hard
I'm
in
gonna
my
go back
life.
to what I said. Pookie and Ray Ray shouldn't exist. And the only reason why Pookie and Ray Ray exist because we're not in the community making those boys the men they need to be. Do you see that? And she don't get a Pookie if you didn't allow a Pookie.
But she got to eat.
The fuck does that even mean? She didn't get a Pookie if I didn't allow. Like, she's making this decision. We've already been through this. They're making the decisions they want to make. They're making they're making the decisions they want to make. They say all day who they don't want to screw and all this other shit, but then when they make a decision, hey, usually leads to that. Hey, they ain't want to listen to us, so like fuck them.
Eli. She ain't come to Eli. She went to Pookie, and that's what we're trying to say.
She wouldn't have had a Pookie if we didn't
worked
allow
too
one.
hard in my life.
Right.
She wouldn't have had a Pookie if we didn't allow one.
But Dr. Umar,
Men supposed to make raise the boys.
Right. We
Rites of passage.
as men is holding other men accountable for the same thing that you're talking about right now.
What are we doing for the young brothers in the street? So
What you mean, mentoring them? No, I mean he's a
Dude, like I said earlier, there have been plenty of community outreach programs, plenty of church events, plenty of black men with boots to the ground, trying to go from community to community, trying to make a difference, trying to make a difference. Sometimes, and there are examples out there, they have women in those same communities pushing back against those men, trying to have outreach to those young boys. So but much to the point where men say, fuck it, let me worry about my own shit, let me worry about my own family. This shit ain't worth it. You look what happens. Mass incarceration. All this killing each other. It's not on me because your kid was a criminal. I just want him to stay the fuck away from my kid. That's all there is to it.
great father.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't
My
talking
brother
that's
is a great
individual.
father.
That's good. But that's individualism.
Yeah.
What are we doing collectively as men
Mhm.
to change the trajectory for black boys in the streets right now?
I believe
Nothing.
we're being
but
a voice.
talking shit.
Yeah, I mean, you could take
It's
it as
not
that.
going to get better unless we put hands on deck. The reason the athletes and the rappers are the role models is the professional black men moved out the hood.
Okay, let's say why the professional black man moved out the hood, because we ridicule intelligentsia in our community, in our communities, or within our spaces, and with our cliques and our groups. We ridicule the intelligentsia. We call them nerds. We call them lames. And we expect them to become grateful adults that will stay in our communities and help us the fuck out of this mess after all of the ridicule, after all of the teasings. And I quite frankly don't blame them brothers. I don't. The ones that do marry black, they move to a nice neighborhood and forget about all of the troubles. And as well they should. Sooner or later, people are going to have to start being accountable for themselves.
Where the dentist at? He ain't in the black community no more.
Mm-hmm.
Where the lawyer at? Where the business owner at? Where your city council person at? We
We
abandon
don't even know who that
black
is.
boys, and then we blame black men for poor choices in mates that they should not even have to make if we did a better job.
You don't have to make a poor choice. You don't have to make a poor decision. You can exercise perseverance to get yourself out of that.
Raising our boys the right way. At the end of the day, if I'm gonna call myself a man, the ultimate responsibility for reconstruction of the black community rests with me. Yes, they have a role. Yes, they have responsibility. But as a man, as a leader, to say I can't fix this shit unless she changes, that's not the definition of a man.
I don't see. I think
I fucking disagree. I'm not gonna sit there and beg you to cooperate. I'm not gonna do it, and nor should you. It's like you call yourself a man for various other reasons. If you are a single mother and you got a 13-year-old son out there fucking up, you need to figure out what's the best situation for your son so he won't end up in jail or a chalk outline. That's not my fault for not being in that. It's not my fault for not being able to tell, hey, Junior, or whoever your father is, don't go out there and do that bad shit. He should have had somebody strong and virtuous to teach him that shit. All this, oh, she had no choice to be but to be masculine. Fuck out of here. There's always a choice.
we're on two different accords. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think we're saying that. What I'm saying is I'm capable of being that leader, that provider. I've worked hard in my life. You get what I'm saying? I should not have to do.
You still go
I
back
don't-
to
But
individualism.
I only feel like we tell black men that we have to now deal with masculine women, women with children.
Why
by
is
other,
she masculine? Because she's had to raise the kids alone. Not one woman,
So you mean
brother.
to tell me
A whole community.
So you mean to tell me the only woman I can look forward in my life is a masculine woman that has kids by other men?
No,
that's what I have to look forward to.
But I'm telling you, mistakes made by black men systemically gave rise to the condition.
Let me tell you the mistakes made by black men. We as black men, we let a lot of things slide. We let it slide instead of applying that pressure. We allowed a lot of blue pillish shit to happen. You know, I will agree to an extent. But this dude is super fucking pandering. It's like nothing these brothers can say to him. Nothing. If it doesn't lead to take care of these kids, all these kids that she decided to make. You know, be a role model to these black boys. You know, like how, you know, show up in the neighborhood with saggy pants. A lot of these boys don't like you unless you're actually from where they're from. They need someone who understands them. Seriously. I mean, just to be serious, but to try to make that the responsibility of men who ain't had shit to do with that. Come on, man. We can do better.
That allowed her to be masculine and made her end up with a man that you consider to be less than what he should be. And I'm telling
because she wanted to fuck him.
Telling you, black men are responsible for her being masculine because we have not helped her raise them.
Look at this dude right here, man. Look, I'm about sick of this dude. Man, get the fuck up out of here. I'd have been lost my patience with this. Is bruh, for real. You gotta be realistic about these things. Is like, what is the use in me telling black men to be the best versions of themselves if they gotta take 4 steps back just to help someone they're not even responsible for? That puts his life at risk because his own mother, who is masculine, couldn't even smack her own son in the back of the head and make him act right. She couldn't even do it herself. And these are some mama ass niggas. First thing they say is something about their mom every time they get in trouble. So why ain't she doing it? If she's such a strong presence, why ain't she doing it? You can't put that responsibility on anyone else but them.
Children.
I am
and
not.
when I say help them raise them children, I don't mean you as the stepdad.
No, yeah,
I mean you as an active member in the community where we go to every single parent black mother and say, how many sons you got? 2? How many sons you got? 2? Well, guess what? That's your son's big brother. That's your son's big brother. He taking them to school. He doing the homework. He gonna spend a couple hours with him every Saturday. He got his own kids too, but he gonna make time for you. She got masculine because she had to become masculine.
He got his own kids too. Okay, okay. How's this for an idea? Hey, wife, I'm going to look after these 2 boys and be a parent, be the father that these kids never have for a couple hours every Saturday. You know. You know how crazy this sounds?
In order to deal with the rape, the abuse, the domestic violence, the disappointments that men had in their life, and also raising those kids and have to take care of herself all at the same time.
I realize we're raising the awareness on SA and rape and all this other shit, but those words shouldn't be used as, you know, tag words just to elevate the seriousness of the bullshit that you are spewing right now. You know. Help them deal with the psychological trauma while while a lot of, us in the black community got psychological traumas of our own to deal with. It's just that as a black man, no matter how little or how big the trauma is, uh, I have to rise above and persevere. It's not a choice for me. It's not a choice for many black men. So a lot of black men, we got our own shit to worry about.
including like he said, the kids that we made. But these suggestions are fucking crazy. Like, seriously.
Same time, the black woman has been the be all in all in our community for half of a century, and now we want to turn around and say because she didn't do it perfectly enough or remain feminine enough when she had to absorb our responsibilities plus her own, that's insensitive and disingenuous.
How does it become my responsibility if she made uh if she made a child with a compromised man? How does that become my responsibility? Oh, I wasn't Mac Daddy enough. I wasn't cool enough for you to choose me instead of him. Like, no, this logic is not working. I understand that he might be trying to do this with some type of demented intent, but no, this logic is not working, bro.
I don't believe so.
Yeah, I can't.
I mean,
agree.
I guess I do understand what you're saying.
I'm not
And
taking
you
nothing
have
back from
yet
that.
to tell me something that we've done systemically to combat that. Because you keep saying me and her. I don't care about me and her.
But there's plenty of
Women and men. Women and men as a group in the community. You understand?
Right.
We gave birth to that. You see? So you say she had a couple kids already because she met men. She probably thought they was good. Some of them, they left her.
She knew they wasn't good.
You don't know that, brother.
She knew they wasn't good.
You're
bro.
making
You know what I'm saying?
assumptions about her. Would you make
Why are you making
the same assumption if she was a white woman?
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, absolutely. Why do these pro blacks think that they could just bring up white women and it's just like the magic bullet? You know, although there are a couple of misguided brothers that act like that the white woman is the holy grail, the white woman is gonna save the black man. No, we ain't letting that bitch off the hook either. We're not. We're not.
Yes, I would.
So you say.
No,
No,
I,
that-
Come
no,
on, man.
no.
Nah.
say.
Come
We
on.
hold all
man.
women accountable.
So you say.
Listen,
Come on,
like I
man.
said, I feel like as a black
We
man,
don't hold them all accountable because black men date outside their race more than every other man put together.
I said we.
Well, you know, there's a couple of men that put out numbers this week that will debunk that falsehood. Um, yeah, um I'm tired of people saying that shit too. We date out more, and even if that were true, who is that a reflection of? Is that a reflection of the undesirability of black men or the undesirability of black women? Stop pushing that narrative. That only makes black women look worse when you say that. It's like okay, if black men don't want black women, hey, well, okay, they look at what's wrong with black men. No, look at what's wrong with these bitches. Why are they so undesirable? If that's the case, but most black men that are in marriages, they are married to black women. We're not counting the non-married relationships that I see every day when I walk into a grocery store or go outside. They've got to stop pushing this bullshit just because there are some dots out there having different kids by different men. Nah, black couples are still in effect.
Y'all three.
Yes.
Okay.
yeah.
I
But
can't disprove that because I don't know you personally.
Even that,
But
if we look at the numbers, black men marry black women at an 87% rate, where black women marry outside of their race, or they marry outside at a 92%.
black women do not. No, you're
that's
wrong.
percentages of
You're wrong.
That's not that much.
Black women do not marry out the race more than black men.
I'm
That's
not
wrong.
saying that, but the percentage.
Yeah, black men black women don't marry outside the race more than black men, but there are exponentially more black men married than black women. I'll say that.
Just
Black
ain't that
women,
far off. That's what I'm
black
saying.
women have one of the highest, fastest growing interracial marriage rates.
Mhm.
But her interracial marriage rate pales in comparison to what black men have been doing interracially for 4 or 5 decades. You understand? She don't even come close to what we're doing interracially.
Black fathers are in the home more than any other group or race.
Okay. But what
That has no value?
it does have value, but we're going to put that up against the other statistic. 2/3 of our kids are being raised by the women. 2/3 of our kids are being raised by the women.
Well, Nah, he's doing just like every other black person doing, using some degree of emotionalism and denying actual stats. That stat comes from the CDC that black fathers are the most involved, that we are the best. We are the best. And even when you put a number up in front of somebody, they in the black community, they don't want to believe it. I don't give a fuck how true it is. I don't give you give them a web. I don't give a fuck if you give them a website. You put the journal in front of them or whatever. They will still deny that stat to their dying day. That black fathers are definitely the best. What does a friend of mine say? Black men are elite. Mm, all righty, but it's like black fathers, black men are the best. We just are. If you are a single mother and you don't think that black men are the best, is just I don't know what to say for you. You just missed out. You're in huge denial, and I laugh at you. Yes, I laugh at your misfortune. I ridicule shit, all that shit.
And like I said, when I say being raised, I'm not saying it needs to be a father. I would like a father in that house,
Yes.
but I know it's not enough of us to go around.
Yeah.
We are not even being accountable to the boys in the hood. And we're complaining about the women.
I argue.
If you are a parent, you need to do what you need to do and what you have to do to facilitate the environment that causes your child to become productive. It is not on an outside interest to take over your responsibilities because you can't do your fucking job.
With women
Who
all
are
the
making babies
yeah,
with the irresponsible men that we didn't raise correctly.
Look, who is we? Number one. Number two, again, human fucking choice. Human choice. That's who they wanted, and they got it. They can't get mad, although they do.
That's bullshit.
all right.
That's wimp ass weak man shit. Take responsibility for our shit. Stop scapegoating.
This is the point where I'd have told this man to kiss my ass. Not literally. Do not pucker up because I'm not pulling down my pants. But metaphorically speaking, kiss my ass. Like, let listen to what he said again. Like, about like I hate this old just because we won't take care of your responsibilities that we are being called all this bullshit. Fuck out of here.
To the boys in the hood. And we're complaining about the women.
You ever seen Boys in the Hood? Wasn't a very good ending to that movie.
I argue with women
who
all
are
the
making babies
yeah,
with the irresponsible men that
That's their fault.
we didn't raise correctly. That's bullshit.
all right.
That's wimp ass weak man shit.
Yeah, that's the point right there.
Take responsibility for our shit. Stop scapegoating them.
It ain't our shit, bro. It ain't our shit. I wasn't going around making babies with a bunch of with a bunch of tackheads that refuse to raise their kid.
Yeah, I could agree. I could agree to that.
All I'm saying is look at all we could be doing better, man. Half the black boys in the 4th grade can't read. What black men doing about that systemically?
Nobody gives a fuck. Let me say that. Look, when you say that is a shameful stat, and you need to look at the parent, the custodial parent or parents. Sorry, go to them with it. Why can't your boy read at a 4th grade level? And for what I hear is a 3rd grade level sometimes. Go to the fucking parent. You can't be scared, man. I mean, they come to they bring these conversations to rational men who's gonna point out the truth. Like I wasn't responsible for this. Like I didn't know. I don't know these people. It just like it's not an easy solution. You what you gotta do is you gotta increase the standards. If you don't do that, then fuck going in a neighborhood and trying to mentor and trying to smack these kids in the back of the head and make them act right. they'll shoot your ass for that shit.
Not enough.
I know what I'm doing about it. I'm
I
building
agree.
a school for it, 2 of them. But systemically, as black men, what are we doing about that? Nothing. Black boys are the most unemployed teenager in America. What black men doing about that? See, the Pookie and Ray Ray you kept talking about? We letting them raise right before our eyes, and then we want to criticize her for ending up with one when we should have made sure there were none.
She wanted that guy. She wanted that guy. What do y'all think of this in the chat? I'm sure there's some interesting commentary going down in there. Hold on one second. Okay. All right. Let's see. You got 32 in the building. Go ahead and hit that like button.
Listen, we all got choices. Just like if I choose to live a lifestyle,
you're dealing with individualism again. I can't
but that's
deal with
part
that.
of choices.
No, it's not. We have to deal with this systemically. He brought up a question earlier, and he said, "Did we make these problems on our own, or was there some systemics involved?" It was systemics.
Okay.
In 1970, they shut down the factories. They took out the industrial building jobs. 1980, dropped off the crack and the AIDS.
Yeah, and black men didn't stop that, so we're all a bag of roses for that shit. Hold on one second, y'all. Let me stop the screen. Yeah, I'm gonna go over these comments in just a second. I gotta do something real quick. Yeah, so yeah, like I said, I hope y'all pressing like. Even if you press dislike, you know what happens when that happens. All right, let me go through some of these comments, see what y'all been saying. All right, I got a super chat from Gyogami. He says, "Greetings to all. Long live the habitual line steppers." He said, "Y'all tell Kev at a nigga." Here you go. Hey, what up, man?
Yo, I appreciate you for bringing me on. I was begging to get on this motherfucker. I'm not gonna hide it. I apologize in advance. I just want to say, fuck Dr. Umar.
Okay, you gotta apologize for that. But yeah, when I share the screen, I can't see it. You know, I can't see it.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
I
but
know.
I got two screens. I need to utilize them. So,
No,
so
you know the whole thing with Dr. Umar is Dr. Umar has been long exposed for pandering to black women. Um, his position has longly been black women are the one with the economic wealth in the black community because they are the ones who have the disposable income, whether it be from Section 8, whether it be from child support payments, whether it be from just whatever. Black women are spending the money on him to say black men ain't shit. So he's long since known to speak up on black men and say something negative about black men or say that we are at fault for the reason that black women choose to have sex with the pookie busted wide open for a stress blunt and a bottle of Boone's Farms. He's long been on that team. I think it's absolutely ridiculous to point the blame on this for this because you want motherfuckers to donate to your school, i.e., to your children that you were paying child support on. If y'all don't know, Dr. Umar has kids. He is not married. He is a baby daddy. And he is telling niggas they are the problem, the cause, the fault for XYZ. Meanwhile, he is a baby daddy. On no establishable papers. So he pays his baby mama when he wants to pay his baby mama, and his baby mama has been saying for a minute, this nigga's not been paying me. But go ahead, kid.
so saying black men being responsible for what's going on in the black community, being responsible for the Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. I was like, oh shit, let me reset my shit. Would you say now?
No, I said that. Well, how do you feel about him saying that black men are responsible for the poor decision making? We're responsible for her sleeping with Pookie, or we're responsible because Pookie should not even be a thing because we didn't stop that as black men.
We are, because it is a 50-50 dynamic no matter how you cut it. However, when you actually look at what the cut is, it is a cut of niggas raised by single mothers, specifically designed to chase after single mothers. So it is the, you go to a restaurant and you go, well, I should have ordered another dish, but really and truly it's the chef's fuck up because he cooked the dish wrong. He did everything wrong. He did everything wrong. So yeah, there's that dynamic of, yeah, it is black men's problem, because even if two lesbians have a kid, it's a black man that they have. You know what I mean? So it lies upon the black man, but it's disingenuous when you really have the conversation. And the truth is, we don't hold the black woman accountable. But why would you hold the person he's getting sex from and getting checks from?
Nobody married dates or marry out more than white men.
What was that?
No, up from the norm 18 says nobody dates or marry out more than white men. That was a response to Dr. Umar saying that no group of men marries out or dates out more than black men.
Mm, I, mm,
Yeah, shout
I
out to
would say
go
I
ahead.
would say black men date out more. The reason white men, I wouldn't count them, is because white men consider Asian women um, part of that whole white supremacy dynamic. Uh, Black men have it hard, so I don't fault black men for dating out. It's hard.
But I
Don't nobody
mean,
want a woman to tell them, nigga, you ain't shit. Oh, nigga, fuck you. And then you have to show up to a date and she shows up with a white woman's hair on, 15-inch nails, everything like that. Like, that's a hard pill to swallow. Yeah, I would date fucking Kimberly Ann over your goofy ass.
but who at the end of the day, who is that a reflection of? If black men aren't dating black women like that, and the narrative that they're pushing is we don't want to date you dusty niggas or whatever. Who is that ultimately a reflection of if you're an unwanted group of
In
people?
Dr. Umar's mind, we should be cleaning up the slop.
That's
Yeah,
it.
it's a long running joke I've had with my cousin. We went to Disneyland. I went to Disneyland with a girl, and Disneyland was the cleanest place I have ever been to, point blank, period. But they had people out in the middle of the little walkways sweeping up nothing, but they were sweeping, and I was like, "What the fuck are they sweeping?" That is how black women want the black community to be. They want black men out sweeping up nothing just to make sure, bitch, do you have everything you need? I know that you fucked Pookie and he was headed to jail and you had 3 kids by him, but I'm gonna sweep it all up. Do you have everything you need? I got you.
Yeah. So, what percentage does Umar know that he's pandering? Does he know that what he's doing is pandering?
Umar is trying to fuck those women. Did you ever see when Umar and Tariq Nasheed got into it?
Yeah, I watched bits and pieces of that, but I know you're probably talking about something specific.
So he was talking about that Hidden Colors movie, and that was what really blew Umar and Tariq up out the water, right? They both blew up because it was a very, very informative. Sorry, it was very informative. With a lot of information. It was some powerful words being used in that, right? But the funniest thing that I ever saw was, and this probably was 2 years after the fact. He was like, Tariq. He was like, I had to edit this thing, and I had to spend money to edit the herpes off of this nigga's mouth.
God
So
damn.
that told me right then and there, oh, this nigga's dirty macking. So what he does is he says, I am a school psychologist. I am here for your children. I am here for XYZ. I will teach you how to make your children the best that they can be. And he has a great wealth of information because he actually is a school psychologist. He's a smart individual. And he does these lectures. But what he does is he has these women pay for him to come out, and he stays at the Motel 8, Motel 6, Best Western, whatever the equivalent is in your neighborhood. And he tells them, won't you come see me? Yeah, you know I'm Big Papa. Yeah, POPA. Big Papa. Big Papa. And he's constantly out here trying to fuck these goofy ass single mothers who are predisposed to fucking ain't shit niggas anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. So what that make him?
Right. So now you've charged, I don't know. Let's say he's charged $5,000 for a lecture. Overall, the lecture made maybe $20,000 because of people who were paying for the extra and this and that and that, and the person made a little bit of money back. And it was an industrious mother. Now he's made a little bit of money. He's like, yeah, won't you come to my room? Yeah. Now he's out here fucking single mothers. He's fucking destitute bitches and saying all this slick shit. The well is drying up. So the nigga is saying wild shit now to get
Yeah.
single mothers to go, well, Dr. Umar's gonna come and tell you niggas is wrong. I know I had 3 kids by 3 different niggas, but you niggas is wrong. Dr. Umar's gonna tell you that you are wrong. And he knows what his audience is because he's gonna come out here and he's gonna fuck the conscious stripper and fuck off his $1 million deal just to get them cookies. Yeah, you like how I'm crushed them cushies. Yeah, you like that. You like that. Oh no, Breakfast Club. I'm celibate, nigga. You sell a bit of ass, but you ain't celibate, nigga.
Man. Yeah. Shout out to Art New Stall in the building. Milton Patton. Who is this other
That's
one I
a
seen?
drawn ass nigga. That nigga can draw. But go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, shout out to everybody in the building. Please hit that like. We're talking about Dr. Umar, the Prince of Pander Africanism. Yeah. The one thing I do notice about these guys is that I'm not saying that Dr. Umar isn't in the community, but we run across these guys with this simp rhetoric, and they're not prepared to save any of these women. They're not at all. They just know how to tell the brothers, that they gotta say these women when they don't have that damn intention themselves.
Brother, I find it weird. I find it odd that you wouldn't be up here uplifting black women. I don't understand how you, as a married black man who has a black daughter, isn't out here saying black men need to get it together. Don't you have a daughter, sir? I'm trying to understand how you don't want your daughter to be lifted up as a princess and the queen that she is. Find me at FDMG Academy. Hit me at AOL online and send me cash apps. Sir, can you please answer that?
Well, number one, I don't put it on a man to be a proper role model for my daughter. I would rather her find people who look like her that are of her gender to be great examples for her so she can grow up into something. I am, as a dad, going to teach her as much as I can, but it's also the responsibility of her mother as well. You know, that's what the man said. Don't forget the YouTubian nation.
Sir, don't you understand that if you are at a halal truck in North Philly and you have to order a sausage mild because I don't eat that house shit, and you have to have a little bit of mustard on it, that a nigga can come up to your daughter. I'm sorry, we don't say that name, nigga. I'm going to say negus. A negus comes up to your daughter and she gets hit on, that your daughter could get pregnant from holding hands with this man. Now, what are you going to do and say to that young man? Because your daughter is absolved of everything that she is trying to do, because I need some money from your daughter in the future and her mama.
Wow. Yeah, that was loaded. And speaking of sausage, hybrid catastrophic impact X83rd Power says black women set up Dr. Umar with a trans on Fox Soul, and he's still riding hard for the nonsense. Pause.
Yeah, that was some cold shit. Yo, that was some cold shit. I ain't gonna hold you. That was some cold shit. He was like, "Yeah, Sister Queen." That
Oh, man.
motherfucker was out there. Yeah, nigga, sir, ma'am, sir, ma'am, sir.
And then he tried to backtrack it. He tried to.
I did not know that that was not a queen and that was a nigga. I mean, negus, a negus being
Man. What up, D. Scott? Yeah, man. But my thing is like this. I mean, he said various things during this, like, there's not any, like, all of the smart black men leave. There's not any dentists that's in the black community. There's not any lawyers that's in the black community. That, every time we get something, we take it somewhere else. And was my rebuttal to that was, well, we as a people, we tend to ridicule the intelligentsia of our community, and we run them out when they grow up, and when they get opportunities they can't wait to leave. Now, me and you have talked about this before. I mean, you can't even say a complete sentence without some type of ridicule or criticism around certain black folks. Imagine what it's like
no.
for a dude that is aspiring to be a dentist or an accountant or a lawyer, you
I,
know.
I I worked so hard in my life to get rid of my accent. Um, it's embarrassing to a certain point. I worked very hard to get rid of my accent because my accent has no real place in business. Just is what it is. Um, to the point to where now when I have conversations with certain people and it kind of dives into that dynamic of hood politics, if you will, they don't believe me when I go, nah, nigga, it's like it's not. It's like it was real around here, but I realized that I have to come up out of that element in order to put myself in a better position to speak better, have better diction, to be able to converse with certain people, so that way I wouldn't come across as ghetto hood deficient in some way. And when you have conversations with people who aren't quite at that level, or in that arena, or have been around that certain dynamic, they look at you funny, and it's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like I've been in situations where motherfuckers have questioned me on murders, and then I've been in situations where I've been in embassy parties in third and, well, maybe yeah, in Europe. I'll say Europe. Most of Europe is a third world country, so that's why I was going. But yeah, I've been in embassy parties in Lisbon, Portugal, uh, in Brussels, XYZ. So when you have these conversations with people, you've removed yourself from certain hood situations, but now you're back to having conversations with motherfuckers who've never been nowhere. So it looks at you funny, and you're like, "Are you for real?" Because I don't sound like Kodak Black. I'm not black.
Why do they equate blackness to ignorance, man? Why? It's like these guys said, sounding black to fit in. After 25, I didn't give a shit. Let me tell you something. I never tried. I mean, I let it aggravate people who called themselves quote unquote black. Because why should I change for the motherfuckers? Why should I?
Yeah,
I'm glad that it bothers them that I can say complete sentences and everybody can understand the words that are coming out of my mouth. It's called English.
Now, I will tell you, I have a deep disdain for those black folks who come from upper middle class families who you could tell, like you could tell that they have this inkling of like I've been around, for lack of a better word, the trenches, right? But
Mm-hmm.
they weren't really there, but they do this. It's not even code switching. It's like I'm a pet nigga dialect. I detest that from the. They're like, yeah, Brody, yeah, yeah, and they just so fucking friendly with white folks, and you just like, where
Man,
did you get this fucking from?
man,
And like that I detest, but it's and it's like, oh, because I've had the prime example. I don't know how deep I want to get into the conversation of this, like, because it tells you my background. But I just had this conversation with a black person. The black person, um, he was very pet niggerish, right? And 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 in having a conversation with him, I was able to ascertain he wasn't from a family that had been in the mud. He was from an upper middle class family. He'd never really been in no trouble. He was just real cool with white people, and he just didn't see the problem with talking with white people a certain way to make them feel comfortable. And I detested that so fucking much.
trying to make white folks feel comfortable. Yeah, I detest that too, man. You shouldn't have to adjust your. I mean, just like you shouldn't have to adjust your speech to fit in with black folks, you shouldn't have to adjust your speech to make white people feel comfortable. That is, fuck, fuck them forever.
Yeah, it's a crazy dynamic. You're like, the fuck you talking about? Like what? Yes, sir, boss. I mean, yeah, Brody. I'm gonna teach you the slang. Can you say? Can, can you say? What's poppin'? What's poppin', Jerome? Oh fuck! I gotta go. I gotta go. I gotta go.
Yeah, gee whiz, man.
Whoever the nigga that taught white folks the fist bump, I hate you. You should die 1,000 deaths.
Yeah. Yeah, bro. He also something else. It's black men's fault that Pookie exists. If we had been on our job as black men, Pookie would not be a choice,
Yeah,
for these women to go to.
if I was a robo nigga who had the tolerance for all these goofy bitches, yeah, it wouldn't be a choice. But it's a whole lot of black women out here who are constantly making fucked up choices, and we need to follow with them fucked up choices and learn about them fucked up choices. For a black man like Umar to get up there and say that silly shit, and he got a bunch of kids he don't take care of, stupidest shit ever.
Dumbest, dumbest ever. Yeah, bro. Uh, yeah, but it's definitely has been a trigger point for a lot of content creators. I've seen a lot of content creators covering this, and my thing is like he's espousing the rhetoric of an idiot.
Pandering is a powerful fucking thing. That dude used to be on point, and then he said, "Listen, I got bills to pay. I got bills to pay. You bitches want your kids to have a semi decent education, right?
All right,
I got bills to pay."
we got a super chat, Big Kev 9539 StreamYard link.
Ooh,
All
who the
right,
fuck is Big Kev?
Big Kev, yeah, he's been on here before.
Uh,
Yeah, he's been on here before. So yeah, it's all good. But yeah, man, we're not like I was saying throughout the reaction, we're not responsible for Pookie and the decisions these women make. It's absurd. It's absurd to me to actually have to explain how much I'm not responsible for this shit. and unsavory characters always were like those kinds of guys that would try to say, "Well, hey, Kev, you need to get on that program." You know what those unsavory characters are doing right now? Nothing.
Rolling dice, drinking Boone's Farm.
Yeah. So what up, Big Kev?
What's up? What's up? What's up? Oh, thanks for having me on your show, Kev. Again, always
You're
grateful.
very low. You're talking very like I don't know if it's your mic, whatever.
Maybe it's my mic. Hold on.
Yeah. Yeah, you in the
Can you
middle of
guys
the
hear me now?
forest? You are very staticky. Very staticky.
Okay, what about now?
Way better. What's going on?
Oh, nothing much, man. Nothing much. Yeah, man. It's just again, like I was saying on other people's like AB media stuff. I'm like, you have to realize, like, the majority of these niggas that claim to be hotep or pro-black or feminist or whatnot, these are niggas who spent their late teens, 20s, early 30s either running the streets, promoting female supremacy, or chasing white validation, and they have nothing to show for it except bills, debt, and broken relationships. So instead of just admitting that they're a fuck up and a failure, like, you know how you have like how you'll have like some like OGs who like did hard time and try to steer other, you know, young dudes away from the streets. Instead of doing that, instead of giving out negative advice, they try to present themselves as this like holier than thou moral authority, like, oh, they're better than you. But if you look at it behind the scenes, these dudes are bigger fuck ups than that made more fuck ups in their lives individually than all three of us on the panel have combined, you know? Like, these people are fuck ups, these people are low key failures, either in economics or in relationships. Instead of just admitting the fact that they're a failure, they want to try to act like they're better than you because it's a roundabout way of basically panhandling and grifting for sympathy, you know? So that's why they say what they say. That's why they position, you know, their arguments the way that they do. You
Hey,
know,
did y'all peep this though? Did y'all peep when he said that, he was saying go to Africa, but then he turned around and said, I tell women all the time to go to Africa.
yeah, and that's actually what I wanted to point out too. The reason why he doesn't run this scam with so-called Africans is because they tell him to go fuck himself and call him a
Not,
continent, tell him to go fuck himself.
no, he ran that scam with Africans for a minute. So before he did all this black and the other shit, he was doing the I'm gonna take y'all to Africa and teach y'all. I'm gonna teach y'all. I'm gonna show y'all Africa. So he was doing that, and he was running $5,000-6,000 pop. I got a couple friends that actually did that shit. It's just more very, very economical to tell black men that they are the problem, and then elicit
Yes.
funds from black women. That just is what it
Yes,
is.
exactly. Because again, and I said this before, I said, you know, when it comes down to these conversations, and this is why, again, why when I say most of these people, including guys like Umar, really his real name is Jermaine, believe if I'm not mistaken. But these when it comes down to these conversations about quote unquote group unity, and I said before, there's people that are ball hogs, there are people that are bench warmers, and there are people that are active contributors. Think of the ball hogs, think of like the Antonio Browns, the Ebony K. Williams. It's these people are very talented, but they're fucking insufferable, or they like, you know, kiss white folks' ass. So they're so much of a pain in the ass to deal with that they're not even worth their time, no matter how talented, rich, or resourceful they are. Those are what they call the ball hogs. And then guys like Umar and the people that he advocates for, these are people that I call bench warmers. Basically, they believe in this idea of air quotes community unity, as in other people need to take care of me and I just need to don't really contribute anything. Think of again like a bench warmer, you know, they don't get a whole lot of playing time, but if the team wins and if the team wins a ring, they want to say like we won. Like no. The people that played won. You just rode the bench. And this is again why I think why they say what they say. Because again, at the end of the day, you know, guys like him, you know, a lot of these gynocentric Negroes and the women that they cape for, they see them as bench warmers. You know, they see them as useless bench warmers, just basically just warm bodies that exist as basically nothing more than basically breeders. In their eyes, women shouldn't have to do anything, and not just women, but the dudes that live up under the women shouldn't have to do anything. They should just be able to sit on their ass all day and twiddle their thumbs and fuck and party and do nothing. And then you got guys like you and me are supposed to basically do all the heavy lifting for them.
Well,
You
In
know
other words, he's a scammer who's telling bitches shit to make them feel better in order to send him money to make him
exactly,
live.
exactly, yes, exactly. That's what the majority of them are about. Because again, if they care so much about quote unquote the boys, and again, and I just despise how they try to weaponize. I hate how these sip ass niggas try to weaponize our benevolence against us. If you care so much about the boys, number one, you would be on the woman's ass about teaching these boys how to read, write, and count. Because if you
He did mention that.
yeah,
He did mention that the boys ain't reading at a fourth grade
no,
level.
I'm saying literally,
But
it's and the main reason why is because the moms believe that their boys are too stupid. It ain't because these boys are stupid; it's because the moms don't believe in investing in their boys at all.
well, according to him, it's because black men haven't done what we needed to do to raise these
Exactly.
boys
If
properly.
niggas would just be exactly, it's that whole, if niggas would be like LeBron in '07, the '07 playoffs, just basically just drag the team to greatness, and basically the rest of these niggas just be a bunch of warm bodies that are just there. You know what I mean? Like they want niggas to do what LeBron did in Game 5 of the Eastern Conference Finals against the Pistons, just 29 of the last 30, and just basically carry the team to victory. Like, no, fuck all that. No, if you want to talk about quote unquote unity, you have to think like again like in the mindset of an active contributor. Think of like the Denver Nuggets this past season, the 2014 Spurs, the Bad Boy Pistons, the second iteration of the Bad Boys Pistons in the early 2000s with Chauncey Billups in them. These are teams who, okay, you might have a few dominant scores, but everybody was hustling, everybody was playing defense, everybody believed in passing the ball, that type of stuff. It wasn't just they didn't believe in having a team full of slackers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They want to make excuses for so-called black women being slackers because if they make excuses for so-called black women being slackers, they can turn around and be a slacker by living up under them. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So again, and like you keep saying, it's like the people who are if you keep looking, guys like Umar, like we find out with Brother Polite, the R. Kellys, etc., what you'll find is that a lot of these people with these aggressively gynocentric views, they they in the majority of times turn out to either be cowards, idiots, scammers, or people that are just abusive and predatory, you know? So, but again, like you said, is that they get their social clout from telling women these feel good lies about how niggas is doing them wrong and niggas are just so oppressive and all this other shit. But in reality, it's like most of that shit is a lie, you know?
We,
And,
we, 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 we know this.
mhm, exactly.
We know this, and this is
That's why he
why.
wouldn't debate somebody like a Charles Faulkner because
Oh man,
his ass will get cooked. He won't debate somebody like you, Kevin, because he'll know he'll get fucking cooked. You don't even have to cuss him out. You just got to ask some simple questions. You
now
know what I mean?
let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. I do not underestimate the intelligence of men like Dr. Umar. They
Oh
are
yeah,
they are very very crafty with their words.
oh yeah. And in fact, what you got to do is just kind of box them in. It's like, listen, Umar, I already know what you're gonna try to say. You're gonna try to say that, oh, the problem is that the reason why these women are so fucked up is because of male inadequacy on our part, i.e., we're not manly enough, we're
But
quote
but
unquote
but
oppressive, blah 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 blah.
but
You know,
here's the
the
thing.
thing about it is, again, yeah, I understand they're real crafty with their words, but I'm saying is like they run the same plays. Like they don't really deviate too much. So once you figure out a few patterns from people like this, you can pretty much predict how they're going to drive the conversation. All you got to do is just jump in front of it and just ask them questions that'll basically
Use
trip them up.
use talking points. He used talking points that bitches use. Like one that stuck out to me was, it must be the kind of woman that you're fooling with. And then the guy was like, well, why don't you apply the same energy to women when you talk to them? Well, he said, because, we're men, we're having this conversation. If
And
I'm
I
the
would ask them,
lead,
I'm like, didn't you knock up a stripper? So
If
shouldn't
I'm the
you
leader, everybody's gonna take my input into consideration. Period.
leader according to who?
I mean, is
Do you see what I mean?
according to Dr. Umar,
Exactly. I'm
obviously,
like leader. Yeah, and I'm not
that's
trying
just
to debate with
escapism.
you, Kev. I'm saying leader according to who?
That's just escapism on his part. Is the escape of the actual accountability for what's actually going on around here. When I say things, I'm not saying things to embarrass people. I'm saying things because they're actually factual. It's like, and the fact of the matter is, you shouldn't put black men to task if black women, their simp lords, and their fucking kids are going to continue to destroy everything. That's not our responsibility. Sorry. To fix things if you keep fucking them up. We are the leaders because we have dicks. No other reason. Yeah,
Yeah, and
yeah.
and let's cut you off, Kev. But this is why I like laugh at people when they say, "Oh, we need more fatherhood involvement." It's like, no, the fuck you don't. You want men to be sperm donors because the same assholes who argue this whole "we need to help the boys out," we need to we need more fathers involved. Number one, they don't believe in holding the woman accountable for practicing benign neglect of the boys. Number two, they don't believe in fathers having custodial, educational, or disciplinary rights over their own children. And number three, they don't believe in really fathers or husbands having the authority to set really any boundaries at all.
Mm,
They don't believe fathers deserve any rights whatsoever over their own children, over their own household, and they don't believe in holding women accountable for anything. So the reason why they keep bitching and whining and crying about deadbeat dads is not because they give a fuck, it's because deadbeat dads are basically nothing more than a political meat shield. All their fuck ups and failures can be blamed on. Well, what about the deadbeat dads? Oh, you promote no fault divorce? What about deadbeat dads? Oh, you benign neglect these boys in school and education, and we have the empirical evidence showing so? Well, what about the deadbeat dads? Oh, you mean that a lot of these resources that are supposedly going towards the children in the form of child support and alimony actually aren't, they going towards the bureaucracy and greedy selfish women? Oh, well, what about deadbeat dads? You see what I mean? Like, it's a way of deflecting criticism away from their own fuckery by
well, it's
saying,
like
what about the
it's just
deadbeat
a
dads
way.
argument?
That's just a way to shirk the responsibility off of the
Exactly.
custodial parent and how the custodial parent is fucking up. I've never given a pass for that at all. If you're the custodial parent and your kid somehow is at a disadvantage, is because of the environment that you are facilitating for the child. Doesn't have any goddamn thing to do with a motherfucker who isn't there, who has no influence on the child. Now, they speak as if like these dudes that they making these kids with were just hella excellent men, but you know, oh yeah, I was gonna drop this suggestion for anyone who want to take this to Dr. Umar. Um, Listen up. Since these dads are so bad, and it's because everything is because black men aren't there for the kids and the fathers weren't there for the kids. How about when these women get pregnant outside of marriage and the father ends up becoming a deadbeat? Why don't we interview these guys and see what happened? Why can't you be there for your child? Shit like that. What do you think that's a good idea?
Yeah, exactly. Yep. I think that would be a good idea as well. Yep.
Yeah. Let's talk. Let's talk to the man. Let's see what's going on. Let's see what his qualifications are for taking your most prized possession, your treasure. You know, yeah. Let's see who this guy is. Let's determine whether this man was fatherhood material when you decided to lay down and let him shoot up your club, so to speak. Let's see. All right, we got Chaos Rain and we got Judge Dre up here now. What is up, fellas? Thanks for coming by.
I'm not sure if you read my comment in the chat room. Kev, do you just put membership now on your channel?
Did I just put membership? Yes, I just started memberships on my channel. So
Oh,
anyone down there that anyone down there that wants to join the channel. If I get enough people, I will start making members only content. Um, yeah, so I was, and I said a long time ago I wasn't gonna do it till 10,000. I changed my mind.
Yeah. You know, you know, you know.
But
Okay.
your comment, I don't see a comment from you.
You sure? Let me check my. This
See,
might.
it's
Well,
not in it's
I'm
not in
moderator.
StreamYard.
I'm moderator. You might scroll all the way up.
Yeah, I have some
Scroll all the way up. 'Cause I don't think the part that this. Well, I'm not sure they delete it over here on this side. If we're in the streamer, they shouldn't.
let me see something real quick. Hold up, but what is the point that you have to make?
Well, since you got this, I saw that. Okay, I do create or make some sort of badges or take existing badge and make them sizable so it could be for membership.
Mhm.
So like let's say you have this icon or whatever icon, I could convert that as a badge. You could put as your membership on your channel.
Okay, yeah, that'll be nice. I kind of know how to do this stuff too, but
Oh, okay, okay. Oh, even though you
yeah,
don't have to worry about
yeah,
me.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But yeah, this yeah, I have opened up memberships.
Okay.
So I put 3.99 on the 3.99 on the tier. So I mean, I'm only offering one tier. I don't think that I'm so big and so great that I can offer a $20 tier or something like
Yeah,
that.
that's fine. That's fine. I mean,
That.
I keep it to 2 tiers because I can't manage every tier. It's too much, man. I
Yeah,
think 2 is good enough for me. I can manage that.
yeah.
How we deal the pricing. If you have one set tier, that's good enough. They can't pay
Yeah,
it. It is what it is.
but no, that I wouldn't say if you can't pay it. I would never say anything like that. Is that it's
Mhm.
on me to create the value so people will want to become members of the channel.
This is
So
true. This is
so
true.
is I rather it be a genuine decision rather than saying, oh man, oh man, join the channel, join the goddamn channel. Oh man, it makes me feel better as a person if a person decides to do it on their own.
Okay. Okay.
As a
That's cool.
content creator, but
But
that value has to be created.
okay.
But what would you? But
Um, is there a full broadcast of this? I think I gotta find full broadcast.
it's on daily wrap up crew. You talking about
Okay,
with
so
Doctor?
it's not like snippets. All right, good. I keep it short. Dr. Omar Johnson's on a time clock. He's about to be 50 next year. He still has not got that goddamn school running. So wherever he's doing this, what he's doing right now, this is not effective. It's not getting any closer to getting that school built. Chastising a man will not get the job done. He's wasting his time at this point. I mean, I see he's a very well known figure and he's on certain podcasts. And he'd be saying these things for us to give attention. But overall, like I said, I give him another year. All this talk he talk about is not going to hold weight now because people looking at the end result say, okay, so where is your results? Right now, you're not showing results, bro. You're chastising the male population, but you're no different from the male population in America. You have 2 baby mamas. I heard like the guys Diane said, this man is using some of the donations not only to what he put to himself and made partial school, but also child support, which I can't say might not be true. It could be factual for all we know. But for all we know is that you're not a living testament, brother. You can't ask or demand or anything. You're not the representation and got some things done. Now, if you got some things done, this might be a different conversation, maybe. But he hasn't accomplished shit. You
Let me tell
know
you.
that,
Let me.
that's why when the women like I said, when they come onto certain master platforms and they try to get at the men, especially with the tone,
Get at the
Kevin asked
man.
the one good question. So who could talk to you better? The first thing someone will ask say is Dr. Omar Johnson. Why? Because he kissed your ass?
Well, that's most of them, bro. Most of them will gravitate toward the people that tells them what they want to hear.
Yeah. go by the fucking feelings. I tell black people, fuck your feelings. Anyway.
Hey, Drake, Judge Drake, what's going on?
How are you doing?
Yeah, what is up? Do you got some stuff you want to say?
Oh, of course. I mean,
You sound low though. Your voice sounds low.
is that better?
A little bit. Go ahead, bro.
I said, what I said is this. When it comes to this idiot right here, it just shows that most people are here for a season, reason, or a lot of people can be easily swayed. Unfortunately, when he first came out with the school, going for school, I thought, man, it would be a good thing. But after seeing how this man acted right here, you'd be a fool to put your child in school like that, especially if he's a boy. He always talks about what he wants to stand up for men, but he just tells you to just basically still become cannon fodder and don't push back. And last time I checked, men question the status quo. That's what real men do. Basically, he wants to make a generation of men that can be easily controlled and swayed. That's not men. That's a cult. If you have a good enough thing that's going, and you got a good enough vision, people join. You don't push them into joining. You don't sit up here and have rules saying this, that, and the other just because that's against their better judgment, rather, just because they want to be with you know, that's a cult he's forming. You say, look, man, this don't seem right. That's not morally right. I don't feel that's right. And all he wants to do is shame you from going against it. You don't need people like that. You're maybe basically going down the same road you are, just a different leader, which is going to give you the same result. It's just ridiculous. I think what the problem is, they really see that men have left the community, and I recommend any black man, if you can get away from the community, run. And even though it sounds bad, and as a person who because you could say, well, Judge, you don't do that. You try to help out. Yeah, I do, but I realize that it's in vain. I mean, it's for what little your returns are, the risk is not worth the rewards.
Oh,
And unfortunately, the risks are becoming more and more. And back in the day, you would have to say, okay, well, fine, this is the risk of doing this, that, and the other. But when you've given another group of people a certain power where no proof needed, just because they said it, they can get qualified immunity on lies and all like that. You just have to realize that, hey, you made you made these changes, and you did all this. Hey, man, we just can't help. Well, and you got to stand firm on that. People say, well, we want you to come back and help. Oh, okay, we'll come back and help, but you need to change these laws first. Then we'll come back and help. Other than that, you're on your own. So you can't continue to have the laws that you want in place and tell us to still help. No, no, no. These things you want our help. These things need to change. We're not going to tell, and we're not going to sign no more men up to help until these things change. Period. Because it's too dangerous for them. Why put someone in that predicament? You don't do that. You don't sit up here and say, well, yeah, we need more pilots to fly planes. And then we say, yeah, come on and fly these planes. But you realize that we don't do maintenance and upkeep. And, the people who do the maintenance, we don't have any checks and balances. No, you'd be a fool. Well, why? These people have studied and it'll be hard to be a pilot. And then now you want to put them in crappy planes where they can die or be destroyed, as you say. You can't do that. Sometimes you just got to say, no, we're not coming back. It's just what it is. You want us to come back. This needs to change. I mean, some of these things don't have nothing to do with a person, individual themselves. If you say, these are the status quo that need to change. Hey, no more believe all women. That shit got to go. We just handle that shit in court. No more bad blowing off accusations. No more. This is what we're going to do from now on. Accusation is made. Now we put an ankle monitor on both of you. You both just shut the fuck up. You can't say shit until the case is over with. That way, no slander and stuff both ways. You see, now what we do is, okay, fine. You want to come out and make a case against somebody? Somebody's going to jail. Either you make your case and go to jail, or they make not. You know, either you make your case and they go to jail, or you don't make a case and you go to jail. That way, will make people think twice about lying, because we have now made it where a lie is more powerful than the truth. And anybody who even participates in a system like that is doomed to fail.
Yeah. So it's back to what I said. Certain conditions have to be met in order to facilitate such I don't know, craziness, I would say. Hmm. Yeah, but anybody, what do y'all think when Dr. Umar says, and I think I might have asked this before, the saying that we have allowed Pookie to exist. That there would be no Pookie if black men had stood on their, stood on 10 toes and not allowed it.
Well, for some, well, the thing about him is that if he says that, but then also it would mean that it would also mean having to give up this idea of quote unquote race purity, because it means that some of these dudes that have to date women outside of the quote unquote race or outside of the country. So, you know, if we all quote unquote stand up and become respectable men, that's what will happen.
Okay.
You know, they just don't, like you said before. Again, and Judge Ray, you said you've done some illicit stuff, so you can kind of confirm or deny whether or not this is true.
Yeah.
I was telling these other people, Judge Dre, that most of these people, the vast majority of these people that claim to be pro-black, hotep, or feminist, these are niggas who spent their late teens, 20s, and early 30s either running the streets, chasing female, promoting female supremacy, or chasing white validation. And now they have nothing to show for it except for bills, debt, and broken relationships. And they want to do this whole save the community shuck and jive as a way of trying to shame working class so-called black men into trying to basically bail them out.
Yeah, so basically, it's basically like this. I said, this is what happened. It's just another government program for women. It has nothing to do with that. It's another government program for women, but it's made by the people. So what that goes is this: hey, I go ahead and do stupid shit, but I don't have to worry about it. It's a government program for that. I do that, it's this government program for that. I do that, I get up to there where I realize I've trying to have my fun, destroy my life, doing all like this. Well, guess what? It's a group of men that made a system and belief where at least I can go over there and pick one of them. That's all it is. It's another bailout. That's it. Because unfortunately, what is more important to the black woman is what she can get, not how successful her child can be. It's like, oh yeah, if the child was successful, he grows up and becomes Zion Williams or whatever, like a $200 million man. It's take care of mama. That's the whole system. Take care of mama. But during the whole time that you were growing up, who was taking care of you? You tell mama took care of you. Technically, mama didn't. The taxpayers did. You have a you have a better right to them than you do your mama. Because half of the time they just set you in front of the TV or put a remote control in it. You really will see what it is. Look at the numbers of women who sign into the portals to check their sons' grades. That's the reason why you cannot be led astray and have a majority of black male children reading at a fourth grade level. It just doesn't happen. I mean, it's just what it is. If there's smoke, there's fire.
Yeah. And speaking of smoke, just want to remind everybody that Smoke Show Sundays is tomorrow night.
So just real quick on that, but I see exactly what you're saying, Dre. Is the only thing that that I've ever said for real is that you have to take responsibility for your own shit. Meaning that if these kids turn out to be subpar, it's because you produced a subpar environment for them. It ain't got shit to do with the man. It ain't had shit to do with bringing that child there. So my suggestion for all these women who don't seem to be responsible or accountable for what your child is doing, and I always want to blame the dad. Tell us what that nigga is so we can interview him and see what actually happened. Because it's your side, there's his side, and then there's the truth.
Well,
Shoot, let's see what the truth is.
this is what I tell people all the time. I said, if you notice, I've been a YouTuber for years. I've got four baby mamas. I was before it was that when they love to bring the people that you knew up on the stage. Here's the question: you notice how much I done hit hard so hard. They even tried to get mine. None of mine would step up and do it. Why is that? They all hate my guts, but they would never step up. Why is that? Because they know that I will speak out and speak back. And this is the thing. This is the thing about when you men just stand there and don't speak out and tell people when people are doing wrong and calling them out on bullshit. You know what I mean? That lets them set the narrative. I don't give a damn if they call it bashing. No, it's not called bashing. It's called saying what the fuck you did. It's called cross examination. You know?
Well, this Dr. Umar is pandering to
Of
feelings over
course.
facts anyway.
But
It's,
Dr. Umar, he just swings back and forth depending on how many
let me tell you
whores he
something.
has in the closet. And
I've been
when he
listening.
needs more women to have sex with, he does that, plain and simple.
Yeah,
When he's got two or three bed wenches that are already Latin, he's gonna have enough time, and that's when he does something different. That's
let
what
me
he's done all the time.
let
His
me tell you
motto.
something. I've been listening to the musings of Dr. Umar for a while, and I wish I had proof of this. But one of his speeches back like 10 years ago, his stance on interracial was very different.
Yeah, of
He
course.
he felt he said at the time, conquer their women.
Hmm.
That's what he was saying. Conquer their women. Go ahead,
Yeah.
bruh. Do what you need to do. Now,
And he got
now,
backlash for that too.
yeah. Now he's dick policing.
Oh,
Oh, so Dre. So I'm speaking the truth.
of course. Basically, like this is the problem. Is there's consequences when you do every action, no matter what it is, good, bad, or whatever. That's the reason why they came up with the saying, no good deed goes unpunished. There's always consequences. But the problem is a lot of motherfuckers, they're not in a position to deal with the consequences. Like the reason why I can come out and say all this stuff, because I'm probably one of the most outspoken individual panelists ever. Because why is that? I've accepted a level of life that I'm okay with living at. So that's why I said as long as I have that, I'm enough. I'm not motivated by money. I'm motivated by the truth,
Okay.
and that's why that I'm not easily swayed, and I'm out easily heavily outspoken when I'll go hard in the paint against certain things that need to be said because they know that hey, they have no way to get to me. And I'm not saying people are like you have are money motivated or something like that, but you have things that they can touch and hurt just because you said the truth. You know what I mean? If you said, "Hey, it's raining outside," what the fucking Kevin? Why the fuck you tell everybody it's raining? Just for that, we're gonna do this, that, and the other. And like I said, when the power of a lie is more important than the truth, you got a really messed up world. You can do some damage with lies.
Yeah. Like I was saying last week. Yeah, The power of words, especially when it comes from a woman. That's why you have to move very carefully in
Yeah,
this day and age.
or be ready. You have to move very carefully. Some of us don't have to move careful at all because they don't have any hard points. They don't have any soft points. But raising a family in this damn world, oh, definitely. Like if you ever noticed, since my children became grown, you always thought I was outspoken then. I probably even gotten worse, haven't I? Especially when you notice, hey, nobody's depending on me. That's the real true taste of freedom. You know?
Oh, yeah. 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 So at the end of the day, fellas, Dr. Umar, thumbs up or thumbs down? I've already pretty much given my thumbs down on it. I just don't appreciate someone who is in the position he's in, to the position of influence, and he uses it for that. That makes it just as bad as any of these brothers on here that y'all complain about. Is a true misleading of the people, and at the end of the day, it's not helping shit get any better. Ray Hama, oh, he's thumbs down it. And for the most part, what I like is there's people who are from different thought processes that are meeting up with like the same conclusion on Dr. Umar.
I mean, the same thing going on with the world now. You see the left and the right, questioning things. That's the beautiful thing is, I hate to say, we don't even, the men really don't even have to say anything else anymore. Like you got enough people out there still throwing, as they say, still speaking for the truth and standing up. You got another group that said, we know the truth, we ain't standing up, and we just ignoring them. And you got other motherfuckers that just really don't care. So I mean, the people that care still about the system as they have it going and the way they're going, it's so minute, it's not funny. That's why they're just screaming and stuff so hard. Like I watch every little thing. You can tell that it's like they're just looking for something. And I mean, the littlest things. Like you sit there and laugh, like, wow, that got you all worked up. You know, it just it's like the last hurrah. You and they know that. I said,
Yeah.
writing's on the wall. They're not coming back. I said, they're not coming back because you're not willing to give up anything. It's not like you said, look, we want you to come back. We want you to do this, that, and the other. And in exchange, we will do this. Not action change. Put something on the books, on the wood. Say something in writing. Not even that. You don't. I mean, like literally, they want you to come back for nothing. Okay, we're gonna maintain the status quo, the laws and system are all in place, but please come back. Why is that? Just because he said please. Please is not enough.
Yeah, Judge Dre. Yeah, something interesting because it's like they'll let you know all the time that women have a right to say no, and people like them they have a right to tell you no. But for some reason, when you tell them no, then suddenly it's like, oh, how dare you? Who do you think you are? It's like, okay, so if she says no, that's understandable. But if I say no, then I'm like the bad guy. I'm like, why could I just be the bad guy then?
Yeah. That's what I was about to say. Be the bad guy. Be the antagonist. Be the villain.
I tell them
Fuck
all the
all
time,
that.
it's got look. Well, when you said stupid, I tell them I'm the bad guy. When I feel like doing something childish and petty, I do that. Other than that, I just ignore you and I don't care. Like I said, it wouldn't piss on fire to put you out.
Yeah.
I ain't even gonna lie. Last night, most of the time, I just sit there and laugh at you. They was like, wow, That's my own. Oh, is that how you feel? Oh, yeah, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I'll be looking like them on like some of the memes. Like there's a meme going around, and I was like, it's either the game or me. Now pick. Like you see black women standing out there, and they show them standing out there in the cold, looking sad. And now it's like you see them out there standing out there looking the cold and sad, and you don't even Like back in the day, it's like, wow, you look at them standing out there saying sad. Now you drive by, they're out there saying sad, and it never even crossed your mind that you even passed them. So like literally, back in the day, they said, wow, man, I feel sorry for you. Now they gotten to the point where I didn't even see it. Oh, they were out there looking. I didn't see it. You know,
Yeah.
you passed a couple 100,000 of them on the way. Oh, I never saw one of them.
So out for the norm 18. When did becoming a doormat for a woman make you a real man? Is it's when hoes got mad and started spreading information just like that. They is anytime he got it. Yeah, anytime a woman describes what a real man is to her benefit and her benefit alone. Is not to your benefit. Is not
Yeah.
is not anything that is redeeming about your character or your drive to compete in this world. Is about what she can benefit from. Whenever I hear people say this stuff about saving the community, all I can see is a motherfucker coming in with Superman's powers that has a fucking bank vault, loads of money pouring it all over these single mom neighborhoods. That's what I think when that's what I believe they want when they talk about what a real man would do. A real man would. And that's I'm sorry, that's not gonna happen. I mean, the crazy part is when he suggested that men who have their own kids go and try to mentor someone else's kids, like take a couple hours out of the weekend. I'm like, what does that sound if you're married? What does that sound like to your wife? I'm finna go mentor these kids over here. You know, I know we could be using this time to help grow and strengthen our family, but you know, that doesn't sound sensible at all. And I wouldn't blame and I wouldn't blame anybody's wife for being mad at such stupidity. You know what I'm saying, y'all? I'm gonna I'm gonna go and take care of somebody else's
Right.
kid.
Right. Basically, I tell people all the time. I said, if you see everything that boils down to is this, it's boiled down to get your resources, no matter at any cost, and then allow me to spend mine on what I want to spend it on. That's basically, and that one reason why the media will always continue to push that agenda and silence anything else that's not again. Why is that? Because they realize that if you take away the women's disposable income, a lot of these companies will go bad. I mean, like say if you just say 15% of women got married in the next say 3 years, so many companies will go out of business just from 15%. Because once they in a committed relationship and in a marriage, they spend less. And I mean, that's what it is. They don't care about anything else. They care about the reason why they push that narrative. I mean, like when you sit up here and say, wow, both of y'all go to work and you go 50-50 with a guy, and that's a problem. When you sit up here and say, well, I'm not coming home and cook and clean. Well, I mean, you don't hear the men saying, well, I'm going 50-50 with you. I'm not coming home and fix the car or do this, and offer protection, lay my life on the line. I mean, it's just many things as we do at the house as you do. You know? I wish somebody would tell me, think about it. If I'm going to cook and clean, I'm cleaning my own house. So 9 times out of 10, I made it dirty. It ain't like you just, I mean, what? Now you say, well, okay, fine. If I got a man and he's there, I got to cook. But let me see. If I come home and I'm by myself, I still have to cook.
Yeah, let
What's
me
the
tell you.
difference? What? How much? Wait. How much extra energy is expelled when I put 2 pieces of my meat on the stove rather than one? That's the reason why when you make in production or any type of factory, the more you make, the less work it is. That's why you can bring the price down because the energy is expelled is damn near the same. It's like, oh, I went like I cracked 2 eggs instead of one. And you're gonna sit up here and say, I can get a whole other income in the house, a companion, somebody to be with me, protection, this, that, and the other. And the only thing I did was crack an extra egg. I mean, like from a from a like a man's standpoint, wait a minute. All I did is what? Like I said, even the men that say, "Well, I live alone, now bring one." What do? Well, I put the sink in, but wasn't you gonna put the sink in anyway for yourself because you need it? What's the difference? Not like that job was any harder because of that. Because there's two people instead of one. The difference is negligible. You won't even notice. It's not like you went from cooking for one person to 20. You know,
Mm.
that's a difference. You'll see that. But one to
Let me,
two, there's no difference.
let me tell you something, man. Let me tell you something. The other day, I washed dishes the other day, and I see what these women are talking about.
Right.
Man, no, I'm just playing.
But here's the question: like the wash dishes, what was it? It was one more plate, one more fork, one more knife, something like that. You still filled the sink up about the same amount of water because nobody just washes it. Like it's negligible. So what you took, you washed one plate, extra plate, fork, knife, and a glass. Where it took you 1 minute and a half longer. I mean, most of you motherfuckers. I mean, all you're doing is multitasking, talking on the phone anyway. I'm pretty sure you don't notice that minute. you know.
hmm Man, shit's just hilarious though, man.
Yeah, well, it
It-
is. It is. I'm sitting here now. And just to see it more and more, and it's like I sit up here and I say now, it's like you almost don't have to do anything. I said they've gotten so bad and they've let this fire burn so much that now it's like even some of them are sitting up here, got to sit up here and say, well, we don't code about it, but I ain't gonna say who to raw. They ain't gonna, we just gonna be like, I'm just sit back there. I'm not gonna say nothing. A lot of them like stand in the back and like, I don't want to just be seen. You know, you can see that they're not even standing behind each other on that bullshit as much. You know,
Not at all. Imagine a man also saying, if I'm paying half, I'm not gonna act like your therapist when you have a bad day. I'm not taking out the trash. I'm not
or
locking the door behind me and wiping pee off the door.
or like I said, hey, if you're not paying half, and they say if we get into a car accident and this car catch on fire, I'm just getting out and I'm getting off myself. I'm leaving the car to burn.
Yeah.
I
I'm
mean, we get
just
into a
I'm just
car
saying,
accident. I
hey,
mean, like,
fam.
say, if the guy comes in with a gun, I'm running and leaving you behind. I mean, like, literally,
Yeah, yeah. Like,
I mean, it's like, I mean, what if men said that? Oh, well, since we going 50-50 and you say like that, then hey, every man for themselves when somebody come with the gun, you know?
tomorrow if I have to pay 50-50, I'm gonna speak with a lisp in a broken wrist. Fuck out of here. That have to be masculine crap. Nah, it's is not something I'm gonna roll with. And at the like I said at the beginning of this, I said a lot of this shit is about human fucking choice. So, all right, but fellas, it is about that time. I'm about to shut
Time
it
makes a
down.
change.
Great. Any last words?
That's it. Watch out for yourself
Yeah, yeah.
and each other.
Hell yeah. Agreed. Chaos reign. What it is. Any last words? Yeah, he probably over there removed because he probably working on some shit for his content, which is great. Go check out Chaos Reigns channel. Yeah, he's got quite the imagination. I would say that.
Oh, you said something, Kev?
Yeah, yeah. I was saying. I was saying you got any last words because I'm about to
Um,
wrap this up.
the only thing I would say, tune in for the smoke session. Make sure you have your good, fine cigarette, your cigars, or whatever you want to smoke, and come up Sunday night, late night. Make sure
Yeah.
your notifications set high. Oh, and I do have a nice little unique video this morning that we uploaded. So if you're not subscribed to the Chaos Rain Show, I'm not sure what you're waiting for. Hit that subscribe button. Matter of fact, I'll put some in the chat right now. That's all.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, go ahead. If you are a content creator, promote whatever you got to promote. I know and if there's a if you are a content creator and you don't have a wrench, ask someone with a wrench to do it for you. So yeah, but I'm getting out of here. Um, um, reason why I make a lot of this content that I make on this channel is just basically to get black men to avoid foolishness. Now, if you want to go down the road that Dr. Umar said, like I said, you're free to die on that hill. It is called human choice, and human choice factors into a lot of what Dr. Umar said without him actually saying that it is human fucking choice. This is the one thing that this is the one thing that many of these pro black, pro whack, pander Africans or whatever, that's the one thing they miss out is human choice. Um, yeah, because when you say some shit that might be serve as a detriment to black men, then we have the right to say something about it. Period. And as long as there are black men like me, it doesn't necessarily have to be me specifically, but as long as there are black men like me in these social media streets, we will combat this stupid shit that people like this say. And with that being said, just be genuine in your messaging. Don't sit up there and like take us. You're gonna take a side in the blame game anyway. But the way Dr. Umar did it it was very poor execution, and all it did was uh, make things worse because him saying all of this on Daily Rap Crew show it did not do anything to solve any problem. It did not at all. Now, if it solved a problem for a couple of you out there, I will not argue with that. I will not argue with that. But all I can say is down that hill if you want to. I want to see a great, awesome black community one day. I would love to see it, but that's gonna have to be the choice of the people. And from the way it looks, none of us are really gonna get what we want out of any of this. So just move carefully, black man, and I would not recommend that you put yourself in a situation, especially if it's dangerous, just to, I would say, go on a one man mission, impossible mission to save whatever this is that we see out here. So, Dr. Umar, I think you get a grade of a D minus for this, although I believe much of your intention is good. Much more of it isn't. And that's what I have to say on this. Hopefully, we won't have to revisit this, but maybe in the near future, Dr. Umar will say something else stupid and have this space on fire for saying it. And we should, as black men, we should definitely call out the foolishness. So that's it for now. Thank you all for coming once again. And it's been a special thank you to the replay gang because if you can listen to this from beginning to the end, you are the GOAT. So, and shout out to everyone who participated in the chat. Thank you very much. That man said A B more like F. I ain't say B minus. I ain't say B minus Sakanulu. I said D minus. I said D minus, but you say F. So so yeah, I wouldn't give him anything close to a B on that one. So anyway, that's it. Please come by the smoke show tomorrow night if you can. Or be, be one of the replay gang. But that's it for now. Long live. I see you down there, new. That man said, "Oh, still in F."
All right, long live the habitual line steppers. In Kev we trust. And when you don't give up, you win. Believe me. Peace out.